Yeah, bye. All right, XOXO. Got a girl. Audra at Home is filmed in front of a live Pitbull audience. Good morrow and merry meet. My name is Audra and you are in for a treat. Also, you've probably seen this look multiple times before and you're seeing it again because I normally film about 3 videos at a time these days because I can't afford to do anything else. So what is today's video about, Audra? Well, I know. Remember old school where I used to go, what are we here with today, Audra? Well, yeah, brought y'all back. All right, so today is another super fun episode of palette retirement. Welcome to the palette retirement home where color is fun and yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I like to retire palettes before decluttering them because I think that for me, sometimes I'll think like, oh, let me declutter this. And then I'm like, oh, I've changed my mind. Mistakes were made. I'm a loser.
I didn't know it would be like that. I mean, you hear about it, you hear people say it's bad, but you think, oh, those people probably have vaginas, but I don't have a vagina.
This is a good way for me to kind of put these palettes in a different spot that isn't, you know, in my normal location where all my palettes live, having their best lives, and see how I feel about them later. And if I end up never really going, where is this palette, or reaching for it, or wanting to grab it, then I know that at that point in time, I should go ahead and declutter it. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started with what palettes are going to the retirement home. These videos are pretty quick, so stay tuned. First up, we have the Oma Beauty Black Magic Carnival palette. So here's the thing. I remember talking about this in my palette collection video and I was like, oh, I need to use this and da-da-da. And since that day, I still haven't done it. I still like the colors. I like the color story. I like it. I still think it's fun. However, I just don't reach for it as much. I'm not sure if it's because of the singles that I have or I just have a lot of makeup. I'm not positive, but until I figure it out, it's going into retirement where it's going to enjoy a nice time hanging out with another Black-owned brand, Colored Rain. All right, you see how it took me a second because I was like, I kept saying Lorraine, 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 Lorraine in my brain, Colored Rain. But I feel like if I just put this to the side for a little bit and make some determinations on it, I'll be able to, you know, kind of choose if I want to keep this in my collection or not. Because I really do love the mirror that says, I'm sorry, I can't hear you over the sound of my fabulousness. And bitch, I can't. All right, so next up we're gonna talk about this. This is the Touch and Soul Philip Orange. I really, I always think that I'm gonna use this specifically because of this like glitter shade here. Like I really feel like I'm gonna play with it, but it's really not my color scheme. But I also think that I might put it into retirement and think maybe my mom or somebody else might use it and then I might declutter it at that point in time. But y'all, I love the orange glitter. Like I know I'm a child, but like, there's orange glitter. Like, come on. There's orange glitter. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this into the retirement home where it's going to hang out and have a good time. And it's probably gonna be made fun of because it does have pressed glitter in its palette and there's gonna be somebody who has some shit to say about them, you know? It's okay, baby, you're fine. Next up, I know some of you are gonna sigh and you're gonna be like, but this is the Kaleidos Futurism for the VR Neon. I am actually gonna go ahead and place this into retirement. I feel like this palette is just one of the few, like of the whole collection, the Futurism one, I just don't feel like this one is my favorite. I don't like the shades as much. And I also wanna say that like this yellow doesn't do as much for me as I'd like it to. It tends to kind of buff off a little bit. I just feel like it's not exactly what I want in a palette and I don't continuously reach for this one. I do like the shades, but I just feel like something about like whenever I go to use it, I just end up not loving it. And that's where I feel like right now. I'm like, like I think about it and then I just stop thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's like everybody I've ever dated. So the thing is, I think I'm gonna go ahead and place this into retirement. I got a little pink with the blue there. It's like, I'm doing a good thing. And that, like, this is why I don't swatch them all that often because then I'll swatch it and be like, wait, I wanna play with it. But because I haven't tried to pick this up in a little while, I'm gonna place this one into the retirement home where it is gonna enjoy a fun game of Baccarat. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and add the Omus Cosmetics Omalicha eyeshadow palette. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct.
How sweet. Dark meat.
But this is a very fun, beautiful palette. However, I just feel like it does need some work in some of the pigmentation for some of the shimmers. I feel like the mattes are okay. I just feel like I want more out of this. So I think for now, I'm going to go ahead and place this one into retirement, and I'm gonna think about her from time to time. Don't worry, I will visit, and I'm also going to bring pictures. So, you know, I'm not gonna leave her alone in the retirement home with like no friends and nobody to hug and no one to love. Can somebody find? Anyways, so that's where we are with that. I just kind of wanted to place that there because I'm not sure that I'm going to play with it again, and I feel like having it in my main collection, one, is cluttering things up for me at this point, but two, I need to make sure that it's like, do I want this in my life? Because if the answer is no, I should let it go. Next up, I'm actually going to go ahead and talk about the Midas Cosmetics and the Basic Bitch Perception Palette. I absolutely adore the color, the art on the outside. Like, I love the art. I love that. It's fucking stunning. However, I am gonna say I like the formula and all of this stuff. I just don't reach for this palette as much. I think a lot of it has to do with there's a lot going on in here, and I do have difficulty sometimes when I grab this palette to figure out what I want to do, because it's kind of all over for me. It's kind of all over. I feel like I have a little bit of difficulty just kind of being like, what do I want to create? I feel like there's like some four squares where I'm like, yes, and then after that I kind of get confused. So I'm gonna go ahead and place this one into retirement where she is going to stay. She's going to have a lovely time, you know. She's gonna play a little bocce ball. It's gonna be fine. Bocce is so fun. All right, next up, I'm going to go ahead and throw in the Summer Days palette. I really love the shimmers in here, but like, I don't feel like I reach for this even when I'm trying to be like a neutral, because this is neutral to me. This is neutral. This is a neutral Audra eye look, okay? Thank you. This is what I'm doing when I'm being a neutral ass bitch, right? Right. So like, this is even way too neutral for me, but I kept it specifically because I was like, oh, well, when I start a job, but I don't have a job that requires me to look like this. I can look like this for my job. So for now, I'm going to place this into retirement. This is by Sydney Grace, BT Dubs. I feel like I didn't tell you, but like all of the names of like, but I'm hoping I did. I'm not operating on a lot of sleep right now. Let's move on. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and place this into retirement. She's gonna play a little bit of dice, and she's gonna be taking all the money, all right? All of it. Next up, we're going to talk about the Nomad Cosmetics Marrakesh palette. Again, for the same reasons. I reach for this for like the blues and whatnot, but I feel like I have a beautiful blue-green palette from Nomad Cosmetics that already fits the bill for me there. And I feel like this color story isn't necessarily my favorite from them thus far. So I feel like what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take this and I'm going to place it into the retirement home. And they're gonna play loads and loads of rounds of golf, and they're gonna be really good at it, you know, like good at golf, and they're gonna enjoy it, unlike me, who the only part I like about it is the golf cart, you know? But I'll visit for the golf cart. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and throw in the Glam Like Caliente palette. This palette, I feel like, has gorgeous shimmers and whatnot, pero my reality with this palette is that I just never try to grab for this and be like, oh, I want to do this. Like, on occasion, I will grab a couple of these and then I'm like, oh yeah, I like this. Like, I've played with Guava. I've come in to grab Soul because Soul is just like this gorgeous gold. Like, this is one of the truer golds I've had. Like, oh my God, it's so gold.
I love gold.
But then I just don't reach for it for anything else. And I think, you know, for now we're gonna place her into retirement, and she is just gonna be out there not giving anybody STIs, but having a very good time, getting freaky in the sheets. Next up, we have the La Rock Pro, which is not the same as Carol. You know, this is Coral. This palette I did get in, I feel like a Tribe Beauty box. I feel like it's very large. Here's the thing, I absolutely adore the highlighters. I love the color stories. I love that I basically have two palettes in one. Howsomever, I just end up finding that like even though peanut brittle is like the peanut brittle and I feel like champagne truffle are these like pretty multi-chromes. Oop, I just made a mess. I'm making messes all over me and I'm about to show you like all these messes that I have. But even though they're like these really pretty multi-chromes, I already have multi-chromes. You see all this? Like this is these two. This is from the Caliente palette. But I even then, I kind of feel like, we need to put you in retirement. I think I keep it because I really love this raspberry ganache shade. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but we're going to pretend that I am. I really love this shade. It's such this like beautiful berry shade and I like it. And I'm just like, ugh. Some of these, you know, if I get the gumption underneath me, I may actually like pull out the, you know, I may actually, see, look at that berry. Jeez Louise. But I might actually go ahead and depot some of these. I know. Audra, you're gonna depot? Let me live my life, thank you. And finally, entering into the retirement home with the rest of these palettes is going to be the Nomad Cosmetics Orient Express. So currently I like, now I'm putting shit all over it. I like this palette a lot. I have such a lovely time with it. I enjoyed it while I played with it. I did get this in PR. However, even though I really love the shade Venice, this is like my favorite shade. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up for y'all. I love the shade Venice. It is my absolute favorite shade. It is gorgeous. It is stunning. Howsoever, I don't reach for this palette as much as I'd like to or as much as I used to. I just kind of like futz with it from time to time. So I feel like with that being the case, I'm gonna go ahead and place her into the retirement home with the rest of her friends. And we're gonna find out if I come back to any of these palettes. In fact, I may be using some of these palettes in my palette chats. We'll see. You know, I'm gonna try to like every once in a while reach through there, grab one, play with it, see what's happening. And that's it. These are the palettes going into the retirement home with the previous crew of palettes in the retirement home. It has helped to really like make me go through and look at my collection. And here's the thing, everything in the retirement home doesn't necessarily mean it will even be decluttered. It may just be something that I keep for prosperity, but I just don't have it in my outward collection to use and don't feel stressed about it because, you know what? I do collect some makeup, you know? Not all of it, but some of it. I do collect it. All right, that's it. That's the video. If you enjoyed this quick hit, please do me a favor. Give this video a big thumbs up so then that way the algorithm goddess can do what she does best, which is push me further down into the algorithm so that I can continue to do what? Whatever the fuck I want to. All right, and as usual, huge shout out to my patrons and spooky bays, yeah. All right, the singing is getting a little out of hand because this is video number 3 in a row, but I would like to thank y'all so much for keeping the bats in the belfry and the spiders firmly ensconced in their webs. And to all of you who like, watch, share, and subscribe, I appreciate y'all as well. And finalmente, as usual, it costs $0 to be kind. It's so good for your soul because if you don't take care of it, I am the devil and I'm definitely gonna snatch it. I mean, I know I got on cat ears today, but still, same difference. All right, XOXO. Got the girl. The retirement home. I'm gathering all these plastic things. As I'm filming today, I've been cleaning up, so like, don't mind me as I grab all these little plastic things from like literally everything that I've been opening as of late. The retirement home is where you are gonna go. Bam, 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 bam.